on. We're going to get started in about 5 to 7 minutes. So give us a few minutes. I hope you guys are having a great night tonight. We're going to be talking about some heavy stuff tonight. Yep, real heavy stuff tonight. We're going to be talking about my friends in Houston County and how much they love us. They love us so much. Let me tell you. All right, let's see. All right, and we're going to push the go button here in just a minute. Anyway, welcome to the call, everybody. My name is Tim Damron. I'm with the House of Yah Community Outreach. Our vice president is also on the call tonight. His name is Juan Hernandez, and he's also here tonight. He's going to be, we're going to be going through kind of some of the facts. A lot of people have been asking questions and asking me questions about the stuff I've been posting and all what's going on. I mean, my goodness, man, I'm in 2 federal courts, one in the Eastern District. I've got a case filed in the Eastern District of Texas. I got another one, just filed one today in the Western District of Texas, and I'm about to file another one. And what is this all about? Well, tonight we're going to be talking about that tonight. We're going to be talking about standing up and what's the cost? And are you willing to pay that cost? There's a lot of people talking. I mean, talking, okay? There's a lot of people talking about suing people and doing this and getting their bonds and all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. Well, I've been down every one of those rabbit holes, and tonight we're going to be covering that tonight. And man, like sunshine, Natasha Jordan just walked in the door. So glad you're here. Welcome to the call. My goodness, I'm so glad I missed you last week. And I'm so glad that you guys are all here. We got Juan, we got Natasha here on the call. We're actually live right now on Facebook and whatever. So if you're going to heckle me, you better do it later. No, I'm kidding. No, you can do it now if you want to. It's fine. I don't care. But anyway, welcome to the call, everybody. We're actually moved. We've got the new location. You can see behind me. This isn't a filter. This is actually my office right behind me. And, we've got a phenomenal internet connection. So, and it's a private VPN as well. So, and man, we're covered up. I mean, we're just doing really well. Everything's running well. Everything is running like it should, except for what we're going to be talking about tonight. And, I'm going to tell you this through all this. And I don't want anybody, before we even get started, I don't want anybody to say, I'm probably going to say this again, but I don't want anybody to think that I'm taking credit for any of this, because I'm not. I give all my credit to Yahweh. His word says that no weapon formed against you will prosper. And tonight, I'm going to take you through this 6-year path of this test and being tested daily for 6 years, living under a fear of being arrested constantly for 6 years. And this was a test. Oh, this was a test. And I'm still standing here. So here we are. And we're going to talk about where we are today. We've got a couple minutes before we get started. We got about 4 more minutes before we get started. So I hope to have all you guys on the call. Please like and share. And for those of you guys that don't know, Houston County and I actually have 2 federal lawsuits filed against them right now. I have an emergency writ of habeas corpus filed, and as well as this is it right here. Oh yeah. No, this is the other one. But anyway, we're going to go through it tonight. Don't worry about it. We're going to go through it tonight. I'm going to talk to you guys about it. And I mean, it's a huge lawsuit. I mean, it's absolutely huge. I mean, Juan, I know you got a copy of the press release that went out, and Natasha, you got a copy of it as well. So we're going to be going through that tonight. I'm super excited. And the main reason that we're centering on this tonight is because when you make this kind of an impact and you leave your foot parked up somebody's behind for 6 years, because believe me, they may have had a hold of me, but I had a hold of them too, and I still do. And having your foot up there behind their posterior, believe me, you leave a mark, huh? And so I don't want any of you guys to get discouraged. But what I want you guys to learn from all of this is that we have the power. We really do. It's just a matter of getting the right agencies to look at it. And one of the many things we're going to be talking about is, how did I do it? How did I get these guys to even listen to me? And why did it take 6 years? Huh? We're going to be talking about that. But we're going to start at the very beginning. I'm going to welcome all of you guys to the call tonight. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and fire this thing up. Let's just go ahead and get started. So we're here. Why not? We got everybody here. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Tim Dan. I'm with the House of Yah Community Outreach, and I want to welcome all of you guys to the call tonight. Some of you guys are hearing this a second time over, and that's just because we just hit the record button. I know you guys didn't hear it, but she's recording. And tonight's going to be a very unusual call. Well, a different kind of call. This is a call that we're putting out there because I want to empower the people. I want to show you, and I'm going to share with you my story, what I did, what happened when I made a stand, and how I continued that stand, where most people don't. Most people, there's a lot of people in this movement, and when I talk about the movement, I'm talking about the freedom movement. There's a lot of people in this movement that do a whole lot of talking. And I'm going to hand things over to Natasha here in just a minute. Sorry, I started to get down the road here on my own. I'm so sorry. Wow, you take a week off and you just, forget all your disciplines and everything. You know what? Before I get started, I'm going to hand this thing over to Natasha real quick. Natasha Jordan, she's been my host here for, a couple of years now. And it's just not the same without her. It really isn't. So I'm going to hand things over to her for just a little bit. She's going to kind of introduce herself. She's going to welcome you guys here as well. But she's also going to lay down some rules. What's some things that we are going to do? What's some things we're not going to do? And we have to do this because, well, I'm going to talk about that here tonight. But anyway, without further ado, Natasha, welcome to the call. So glad you're here. So good to see you. Thank you. Gosh, already. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Definitely. Me too. Thank y'all so much. I'm also want to welcome Juan Hernandez is here as well. And he's actually kind of a guy that moves in the background for us. He's actually our vice president, has been our vice president now for a couple of years now. And, Yahweh has done so much growing and just so much changing and maturing in his life. And, I'm really glad to have him here too. I'm so glad that you're here as well. Now, I know that you got a copy of the press release. And those of you guys that want a copy of the press release, just send me an email. I'll be happy to send it to you. But there was a press release that went out to all the networks, to everybody. And the reason why is because, well, I'm going to start in the beginning, and then I'm going to kind of show how we got started. And then I know that you guys had questions about things that are going on with the legal stuff. So in 2017, 2015, I started waking up. Yahweh started changing things in me. And I mean, everything about me was changing, to me, I think I was a pretty terrible person. If you talk to my friends, they'd be, oh, you weren't really that bad. Well, to me, I thought I was. And, Yah has really changed that. He's really changed and given me a cheerful heart. He's given me so much more. And so in that journey, he told me that he gave me a mission, and he said, I want you to look out. What is your heart's desire? And my heart's desire is our vets. And he goes, well, then I want you to go do something for them. And I said, okay. And I have a lot of friends. I grew up in San Antonio. I have a lot of friends that paid the ultimate price for our freedom. And when I see stuff happen in our courtrooms, and when I see stuff happening on YouTube and in our streets, and I see oppressive cops and people doing bad things, it angers me. And it angers me because my friends died. So we shouldn't have to put up with this kind of stuff. Huh? They gave up their lives and fought supposedly for our freedom. Not for me to walk out the door, not for me to look at YouTube, not for me to be on any social network and be censored or audited or plucked out of the wilderness, which is what I see. And I see that our veteran community, our veteran homeless community, it seems like when our government unfortunately is done using them, they just kind of throw them away. And damaged, broken, no matter what they saw, you know? And my heart goes out to them for that. And I feel like even more so that because they don't have the knowledge to come over here and deal with this and to deal with what we deal with, well, to deal with the normal. See, once your rubber band has been stretched like that, you have a parameter and you start to see things that nobody else sees anymore. And this makes you not like everybody else. And the problem is you might speak up and say something. So what do? They discredit these homeless. They discredit them. They make sure that they're homeless. They make sure they're low income, and they make sure nobody's going to care or look for them. When once upon a time, that was a young man raising his hand and pledging his life for your freedom and my freedom. And that was from that point, that's when the House of Yah Community Outreach was born. And I saw this place, Natasha. I dreamed of it. I literally, I thought I was gonna build it. Little did I know Yahweh had already built it. But I drew this place, and I had buildings placed in specific places. I had a big long driveway, and just some other homes and other things going on. And I said, you know what, this is visual. This is something that I want to do. And I gave it to Yahweh, and I said, we're gonna do it. He said, okay. He took me from Albuquerque, New Mexico in my RV with my family. And we went all over the country for 2.5 years. And once he was done building me here and in here and done rebuilding me and putting me back together, teaching me how to be this guy, he took me out to Houston County, Texas. And I drove out to this property, a 46-acre property with 13 homes. And my ex-wife's, it's hard to explain. Her aunt by marriage, she married into the family. She married her uncle. And this was her uncle's place that had been held in trust for like 40 years. And there was no beneficiaries to this trust. So this property was bought and purchased for ministry work and ministry work only. And I thought, this is amazing. And we get out there and we've come to find out that, the people that are out there, they're in their 70s. I mean, they're definitely sober now. They were doing drug rehab and stuff like that out there. So they're definitely sober now, but now they're just living out their golden years and living on this property. And Yahweh told me this was my home. This was my place. This is where you're going to plant your seed, and this is where you're going to work. And I want you to do my work here. I said, okay. And my background is I have some seminary school, but I never really finished it all. But while I was out there, I finished up my credits, I got my certifications, and became a full-time minister out there and built my nonprofit, set it up out there as well. And these are very hard to do. Setting up a 501c3, people want to set up 508c3s because they're really easy to set up. Okay. The real truth is that setting up a 501c3 is very difficult. And if you don't know the language, and if you don't know the proper language to put in there, they're going to turn you down. And most people do get turned down. As a matter of fact, the quote ministry that was there at the time was unregistered. And they had told us that they had been unable to get IRS certification for a 501c3. We prayed on it. It's done. Just like that. Even got a DUNS number and everything. Dun, dun, dun. So here we go. So the next move is that we started ministering in the town. We started working in the town. Now I'm still teaching. I'm still doing the Monday night show. We're still doing this. And you can go back years on my reel and still see this. And we're still doing the Monday night show. The difference is we have to go do it at a park because the place where the grounds out there had so many trees and so much foliage, you couldn't get a phone signal out there. It was impossible. And internet was very hard to get out there. So it was a pretty nice, quiet place. Now, here's where it gets messy. 2 years later, we're there. We're running, and I'm running everything. I'm running this ministry. We've got people that are there. I've got homeless veterans that are living on the property. They're making a profit. They're turning a profit, but they're doing it everything legally, and they've got a place to stay, and they're working, and they're bettering themselves, and they're eating 3 times a day, and they're praying twice a day or more in a lot of cases. And we're able to really minister to the public and get these people off the streets, but out into a country environment where we can really help them. And I'm going to tell you, this place was amazing. It just was beautiful. We had our own lake on the property and everything. It was absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, enough of that. So the executors that I was telling you about that were on the property, they were trying to extort us for money. See, there was no beneficiaries to the property, but they wanted us. They wanted us to pay them $1 million for this property that appraised at the time at about 200,000. But they wanted to pay them $1 million for this property when they weren't even the rightful owners. So they were literally trying to do a country shakedown on us, right? So then they called their lawyers. Well, one of the guys that lived on the property was actually a locksmith, and he did a lot of work for the jail. And so he had friends down there. So now they want to figure out, who's Tim Damron? Who's this guy? So they start looking me up, and they look me up in New Mexico, and they see all of my filings, and they see all of my fee schedules, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is not such a good thing to do. We should leave this guy alone. Nope, they didn't care. They decided they want to come play anyway. And here was the deal, ultimately, Natasha, is that they really wanted us off the property. Now, why would they want us off the property? Why would the county want us off the property? Well, because this property was held in trust, and it was a church, considered church property or ministry property. This property was tax-free and had been tax-free for over 40 years. So by them selling the property, that means that the county has an opportunity to collect all of those back taxes at the time of sale. And I forget what they call that. It's some kind of taxes that they call it. But anyway, and so this is where the county would profit. And they really wanted this to happen. So they did. And they used their local law enforcement. They came out and to the property, harassed me. They had Sheriff or Ryan Martin, and actually I think that clown is still working out there somehow. Anyway, he used to come out to my property, pray with us, eat my food, and in the meantime, he was just a mole, and he was actually there to just see what kind of trouble he could stir up. He was investigating us, I mean, because this Bible stuff is so powerful. And I guess taking down all those crosses all over the church and taking them all off all the property all over the place, I guess that was some kind of, I don't know, something or another. So basically what happened on October, and it's funny, I did my last sermon there, October the 9th, within 10 days. And it's funny that the last sermon I did was, where do you stand? And who do you stand with? And I'm going to tell you, still go back and watch that. It's up on YouTube, but I still go back and watch that sometimes. And man, was the Holy Spirit warning me? Was the Holy Spirit speaking through me and telling me exactly what was going on around me? And here's the funnier part. There were people in the church service that actually knew this was going on. So I can only imagine what was going on in their heads, or inside. Like we're plotting against this guy, and now he's over here up on the pulpit preaching about it. Oh my gosh. That's exactly what happened. So on October the 16th, 2019, the Sheriff Ryan Martin, or he was running for sheriff. So the guy that was running for Ryan Martin, and he still works there. And the deputy chief, Jerry Kalin, what a piece of crap. Anyway, that guy, they drove about 14 acres onto the property looking for yours truly over here, had done all this background checks on me. And now they're going to come in and they're going to come shake me down, arrest me, and do whatever, take me to jail. And that's exactly what they did. They came on the property. They arrested me for a warrant that wasn't even a warrant. My ex-wife now at the time, or my wife at the time, but ex-wife now, she actually paid the entire bond amount to a local bonding agency across the street from the jail. And there was no bond. There was no paperwork. There was no nothing. They just let me out and staged the whole thing. These guys literally, this is actually what happened. And and then I'm sorry, this was before that. It was a little bit before that, because October the 19th, 2019, that's when I came back to get my wallet and my phone. When they had come out to the property a week or so prior to that, to arrest me the first time, uh, during that, they had taken my phone and my wallet. No warrant, no nothing. Just took my phone and wallet, decided they were going to go through my whole life and see if they could find something wrong. This is something that happens in small town Texas and probably in small town America, just about everywhere. And I'm looking at this going, these guys are a bunch of monkeys. They're stupid. These are stupid. And can I tell you that Psalms 91, and I'm not being haughty when I say this, but Psalms 91 says that no weapon formed against you will prosper. And also in Psalms 91, it also speaks about, uh, people that plot evil against you. You're going to see them. You're going to see them get what they deserve. You're going to see that happen. And 6 years later, I'm actually seeing that now. But anyway, um, that's essentially what happened. And then the 6-year prosecution started with a Class A misdemeanor that started out as a felony. We enhanced it with a drug-free zone. They sent my plant material out to the DPS crime labs in Tyler. They said he doesn't have any drugs. I don't even have any history of drugs. And these people proceeded literally to destroy my life, literally to destroy me publicly in every way, shape, and form. As a matter of fact, more than likely right now, one of the reasons we're doing this call tonight is because they're watching. They're watching right now. Hi, guys. It's good to see y'all. And I'll be seeing you on that day when you guys have got your checkbooks open too, because that day's coming very, very soon. And and it's crazy stuff. But anyway, that's kind of how all this stuff started. And this is up till 6 years ago. And most people would have copped out. Most people would have taken a plea deal. Most people would have done a lot of things. And I'm going to tell you, most people, and not because they're weak. No, man. It's because these people literally have the power to destroy your life. They could pluck you out of the public, and everything that you've worked for will get stolen. They don't care. Everything that you've built up, all of the bills that you're not going to be able to pay, that's it. Now all of your accounts are going to go negative. And these people have the ability to do this because they can control how much you spend on your defense. And that's exactly what these guys did. When they arrested me for this Class A misdemeanor, you guys, I had to put up a $5,000 cash bond. The maximum fine is only $4,000. Crazy. So, that being said, what are y'all's thoughts on this? I know that you guys read the press release and some of the other stuff that's going out. I mean, this has been a real pill. I don't think most people would be able to go through this. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Yeah. You, you mean the continued investigation? So here is the question. So typically in Texas, when you're arrested on a drug charge, especially on something like this where they're not sure that it's drugs or not, and it needs to be sent off to the crime labs, like if you get arrested or if you get stopped and they catch you with a vape pen or something like that. In Texas, what typically happens is they'll write you a citation, they get all your information, and then they'll take it and they send it off to DPS crime labs. And if you guys ever get packages from the post office and they smell like weed, that's why they smell like weed, because all of your stuff is going, and it's illegal for you to mail drugs, but it's funny how they can mail drugs. It's just weird. But anyway, just saying, it's true. I was in line with a DPS trooper, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and he sent this big old box over there and it said evidence. And I was like, how much weed is in there? I can smell it. And he goes, what? It's true. It really is true. But anyway, so typically what happens is because there's no probable cause to hold you. They'll typically write a citation and then they send it off to the DPS crime labs and then they go from there. But understand, in Houston County, Texas, that wasn't what they were trying to do. These guys were trying to oppress me. These guys were trying to hurt me. And as a matter of fact, when they arrested me on October the 19th and they took me back to Jerry Kalin's office, they assaulted me. I mean, they beat the crap out of me, clearly from here down. Okay. And while I was incarcerated, they gave me some drugs and they made me really loopy. And next thing I know, man, they're trying to make me pee in a cup or something. Like, I have no control. It's like too much Valium or something. It was just, whoa. You talk about being violated. That's exactly what happened. And how did these guys continue to do this? Illegally. This is what happens. Police will target people that don't think that they can defend themselves. But they need to watch out, because Yahweh has his people spread out everywhere. Right. Let's see. Hold on a second. Daniel's left a comment here. I want to check this out. It says they reap everything possible to create overwhelming pressure and expect you to fold. Yep. No mercy, because they know if they lose face, there'll be none for them. That is absolutely correct. Wow. They really have it coming. Oh yeah, they do, man. This is going to get better, Daniel. Just go get some popcorn, Daniel. This is going to get real good. We're going to keep going. What else, Juan or Natasha? What did you see in any of this? Yeah. 40. Hold on. I'm going to catch her. Hold on. Let me just pause you for just a minute, Natasha, because nobody can hear you out here on the phone. So they just see me just sitting here listening. So let me catch everybody up real quick. I'm just going to catch everybody up. So just pause you for just a second. So what Natasha was saying is that the county had everything to benefit on all this. And what these guys, right? That's essentially what you're saying, is the county had everything to benefit on this. And then by them dispersing everybody, then it's the tear it down method. That's what they do in this country. They believe that we need to tear stuff down. I mean, look at what's going on in Gaza right now. The United States literally sent money over there to go blow this place up. And now Donald Trump's over there saying, oh, we're going to have a peace treaty. And he was the guy that was throwing matches over there. I mean, literally, we funded that thing. And this is a mentality that we have in this country. And I have a lot of friends that are military, but I've noticed that my Marine friends, God bless them, they have this mentality like, oh, if they see something, we just got to level the whole thing and rebuild it, and then that's okay, which is fine and great if there's a problem, but there's not necessarily a problem. Natasha, also what you were saying, help catch me up on so I can fill everybody else in. Sorry. Yes, much better now. Right. No. Yeah. It did. And it has. It has. It has. And and this is part of their psychological warfare. one of the things that they do, and the reason why a lot of people take plea deals is because they will control your ability to defend yourself. For example, Judge Pfeiffer put a per diem for any attorney to come in and represent me. The per diem, and that means that the judge says, this is how much you need to charge your client because the risk value is this much, so this is how much it is. If you try to hire an attorney to go into small claims court, they're going to want $5,000 minimum. Why? Because the lawyers, I'm sorry, the judges set that per diem, and it's a very common per diem now that's in practice. So in my particular case, Judge Pfeiffer really didn't want me to have a lawyer because he wanted to appoint a lawyer so he could just do me any old way he wants to. And getting to Judge Pfeiffer, this guy was actually assigned to the case after the other judge recused herself, but this was before I even entered in a plea. Like, y'all don't even have a case yet. Nobody's entered in a plea. I haven't even got a citation, but we have a case, and we're assigning Judge Dwight Pfeiffer to this case. If that's not a county weaponizing itself, I don't know what is. I mean, that's pretty clear. Natasha, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, really? In 14 months after the arrest, I'm sorry, 14 months after the statute of limitations had expired on this case, he was assigned to the case. Uh, you're right. They did. They said that was something that they sent, and Judge, what was it, Judge? Oh, who cooked up this nonsense? Now, the really funny thing is, Natasha, this is funny that you bring that up about the drug-free zone. They invented a drug-free zone. They literally invented a drug-free zone that doesn't exist. Like, Juan, look up. You're in your AI right now. What is it? Does it say that there's a place called Crockett City Park in Crockett, Texas? Is there such a place? We're gonna look it in there. See, it's like Star Trek now. Computer, do we have this? Crockett, Texas. Yeah, sounds like Jock Edge. I mean, it just really. Crockett City Park in Crockett, Texas. That's our new Jock Edge. Here we go. I'm sorry, what now? That's what Natasha was talking about. She was talking about she looked up the statute of limitations too. And so originally they charged me as a felon. They charged me as a felony. So they said was within 1,000 feet of Crockett City Park. But is there a place called Crockett City Park? Does it even exist? What does the computer say? Right. So no Crockett City Park. So so and here's the thing on an affidavit, and this was on their probable cause affidavit. Now, also in their probable cause affidavit, it stated that I was within the lobby of the sheriff's office. Now, who and how did the lobby of the sheriff's office all of a sudden become within 1,000 feet of Crockett City Park? Was it on the way? Were they touching? I mean, just it takes me back to those those old 80s movies where they do those pranks and they would put the handcuffs on the cops around the never mind, it's an old movie. Anyway, it just kind of reminds me of stuff like that. Anyway, and so Judge Clyde Black actually authenticated that statement, stating such was true, and stating that and verified this on a probable cause. This is called malfeasance. This is a malfeasance. These are public actors, and yes, they will lie. They will absolutely lie, and this is exactly what they did here. So, and I know that some of you guys are not going to be able to hear some of the questions that are happening over here. So, what I'm going to do is try to just catch you guys up with what was said. And so, if there's little moments of silence, that's probably what you're hearing. I invite you guys to check out well, we're going to have the recorded version of this will be out for you guys to check out. It'll be right here. Also on YouTube, and it'll also be here on Facebook. So look for that. It'll be out here, so you'll be able to catch the whole thing. Anyway, what else did you guys see on this? Natasha, anything you wanted to grab on this? Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Oh, most definitely. Oh, most definitely. Yeah. The question was, are they going to have to pay you damage? Oh, most definitely. And I mean, and actually, Daniel here is like, yeah, they really have it coming. Daniel's saying the same thing too. So, so there's a couple of ways that you do this. Okay. If you're in a situation like this is what I did. Okay. Ultimately, I'd been on bond for 6 years. Okay. And they converted this charge from a felony charge to a misdemeanor charge without even a ticket or a citation, new evidence. I mean, nothing. They just made up this stuff. Okay. This is East Texas stupidity at its finest. It really is. And I'm going to tell you, don't ever go out there. It's the most racist place you've ever seen. And I'm going to tell you, I grew up in a different time, I suppose. I remember my father being kind of like that, like they are out there, you guys, but these guys are racist, man. Like if you read the probable cause affidavit, it says, it doesn't say I'm with a woman. It says I'm with a white woman. It's like, really? I mean, am I really that far off the coloring book? I mean, seriously? I mean, I really didn't know that this Lukenbach, Texas thing stuff was still happening. It's really silly. But so on October the 11th, or I'm sorry, on August the 11th, I filed a 1983 claim against them. And this is what you file. And I learned this, okay? This isn't legal advice. This is just what I did, okay? So don't take it as legal advice. If you need legal advice, go waste your money on a lawyer and he'll give you a whole bunch of legal advice and then come on back and then we'll figure it out. I promise. Okay. Anyway, he will. They'll give you like that much. No, maybe that much. I don't know. I gave Gary Churak $7,500 and he didn't give me anything. Here's actually what they did. Remember I told you they set the per diem? So they set the per diem at 7,500 and they didn't think we were going to be able to do that. But you know what? My classes have made so many people so much money over the years. As soon as we prayed about it, as soon as we reached out to it, my students, our donors, it was there in 3 hours. We had 7,500 in 3 hours. It was raised literally that fast because of what was going on here. And because this is a matter of accountability. If we let this stuff continue, these people will continue to oppress the people. When I pulled the CAFR on this county, and that means their expense report, when I looked at how much this tyrannical police force, what kind of income they had collected through fees and fines and everything that came through the courts, okay? When you divide that amongst the population, and I did, it was about $1,300 a person a year. Just imagine living in that town. And I'm going to tell you, Houston County, Texas is the poorest, the absolute poorest county in the state of Texas. Okay. I mean, you can buy a house out there for 25 grand. Really? No kidding. It's that poor. So, and these people were complaining, saying, we don't want you bringing all these low income people out here. No, what they really meant was they didn't want you bringing any black people out here. Okay. Well, when we die, the color of our skin doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. And it's not going to matter. And these people in Houston, Texas, Houston County, Texas need to learn that. But anyway, essentially what happened was they started up with all of this. And on August the 11th, I fired September 30th, I fired Gary Churak. And the reason that I fired him, my attorney, is because I had no contact with him. He took $7,500 from me on this little misdemeanor charge, and it should have been dismissed. A year later, he's done nothing. Come to find out, the district attorney, in order to get precedence on this case, filed an appeal. Now, how often does a prosecutor file an appeal on a judge's decision? That never happens. But Gary Churak made sure that that happened, and the prosecutor went and filed an appeal with the Texas Supreme Court. And my attorney told me nothing about it and let it default just so they could get precedence and come back. So I found out about that. I fired him immediately, and he's in big trouble right now. He's under review with the Texas whatever. Hopefully they'll do something to him. I'm not holding my breath though. But anyway, there's something going on with him. Anyway, so in a nutshell, he let all that stuff cure just to create precedence where there wouldn't have been otherwise. So after I fired him, I filed a writ of habeas corpus. And this is something that is filed typically with people that are incarcerated. So if somebody's incarcerated for no real reason, this happens. Okay. Harris County Jail last year had 3 or 4 people that I know of, actually 3 people that I know of last year that filed emergency writs of habeas corpus because they were literally arrested, jailed, and lost in the system. This happens. So a lot of times prisoners have a remedy, and their remedy is to file a writ of habeas corpus, which means to bring the body forward. And it gives the feds jurisdiction over your incarceration. Now, because I had been incarcerated on bond for 6 years, that gave me the same liberty. So I drafted a writ of habeas corpus. As soon as I drafted this writ of habeas, actually, I drafted other things. And one of the things that I learned is I filed a mandamus and some other stuff. I filed in the appellate courts and stuff like that. These guys will trick you and try to get you to come back into court. So if you file a mandamus and they get you to come into court and you say anything in that courtroom while your mandamus is pending, your mandamus will be dismissed without any due process, without any reason why. And here's why. This is what I learned. The reason why this happens is because you've decided to go back to the court where you're having a problem, and that court is mitigating and saying, hey, we're going to fix things over here. It's cool. Everything's good now. So what does the appellate court do? They just back out. They just took your money and back out. Well, they did that to me there. And they did it to me in the Tyler courts, appellate courts, and then they did it to me again in the Supreme Court, Texas Supreme Court. So then on August the 11th, I filed an emergency writ of habeas corpus in the federal courts, which is what you do after you've exhausted all of your state remedies. Wow. Once I did that, these guys decided that, well, it's time for Tim Dameron to pick a jury trial. So on the 25th of that month, they wanted me to pick a jury trial. They wanted me to pick a jury for this old worn out nothing case that has nothing and nothing and on nothing. And they're holding my $5,000 bond saying, ha, 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 if you don't show up, you're going to forfeit your bond and you're going to lose your bond. I had a choice. Do I stay in honor? Or do I stay in dishonor and let these guys roll me over again like they just did 2 other times? What do I do? What do you guys think? You show up to court? Heck no. And here's why. If I would have showed up in person, I don't think I would have left. These people have sent people to try to hurt me more than once. They've sent people to pull me over, impound my friends' vehicles for absolutely nothing. And I'm talking about other agencies. Cost County did it. Yeah, these guys are powerful. See, when you're dealing with somebody like this, you're not just dealing with a municipality. You're dealing with a bunch of gangsters. That's what you're dealing with. And these people were willing to play whatever dirty pool they had. One of the defenses that I saw in this case from them was, well, the statute of limitations had expired on his complaint that I filed in 2021. So that being the case, he doesn't have any claims. Well, but you continue to oppress me. You can't just continue to oppress somebody and hold them back for 2 years because I filed a lawsuit on them in 2021. And this has been happening since then. So where we are today is that we just amended the claim, and they were really upset. They didn't like my Monell claim, the first one that I filed. The Attorney General absolutely hated it. He said that his comment was that it's only 3 pages. Well, it only needed to be 3 pages because the evidence was so overwhelming. One of those things being that instead of using my New Mexico driver's license, remember I told you they did a little background on me. They pulled up my Texas driver's license, which had been expired since 2009. It has been expired for over 10 years prior to my arrest. And they decided that the probable cause affidavit would be built on that expired Texas driver's license rather than my New Mexico driver's license. And here's why. They wanted jurisdiction. See, with the New Mexico driver's license, they wouldn't have had jurisdiction, claim nothing over me because I'm not a resident here. But they decided to make me a resident, just like they made up the park, just like they made up the drugs, just like they made up everything else that they made up. So what happened was in 2021, I filed a RICO civil lawsuit against them. This civil lawsuit got dismissed administratively because they were telling him that, their claims have merit and, I'm a bad guy and blah, 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 blah. He's such a criminal. Well, today, 2 things have happened. The Attorney General was representing Judge Pfeiffer, and a motion was put in on October the 26th to strike and disqualify counsel for improper testimony and conflict of interest with requests for emergency relief and sanctions. The reason that I filed this is because something you guys need to learn is that if you guys are talking in court, speaking in court, shut your mouth. What you want to do is you want to make a record, okay? And when you want to speak in court, when you want to say something in court, shut your mouth. You put it in paper, and then you present it to them, and then you just let them sit there and look at it, and it cures. This is how our courts work. This is how equity operates. There's so many people out there, so many teachers talking about equity. Oh, and they just want to throw equity in anywhere that they think it fits, but they really don't know what it means. Equity means capturing your performance, okay? And you can't capture your performance if you're going in there complaining like you're at Sears or like you're at Golden Corral and your your cottage cheese is too warm or something. You can't go in and complain like that. You got to move in equity. So that's exactly what I did. Once I got everybody's answers from the lawsuit, well, then that showed me everything that they were trying to do. So then I amended my claim. And now instead of a 3-page, there we go. Instead of a 3-page claim, we got a 20-page claim. That's right. And this is, and the title changed slightly as well. It says the First Amendment complaint for deprivation of civil rights, 42 U.S.C. 1983, 1985, 1986. Sounds like Back to the Future. And 28 U.S.C. 2201 through 2202. And we're demanding a jury trial. Now, we won't need one. And here's why. When you're dealing with a city like this, they're going to have their insurance come in. But here's the one thing that you need to do. Those of you guys that are in the middle of all this stuff, if you can show that they're involved in criminal activity, the insurance will no longer represent them. So because I was able to show that Houston County was involved in criminal activity, and the most recent being on September the 19th, 2026, this year, just recently. These guys issued a warrant for my arrest, and I was arrested again on this charge. And it cost another $5,000. So I got like $20,000 in bonds on this little misdemeanor for 6 years and an illegal arrest. And for those of you guys out there that say, well, we don't really get involved in that kind of stuff and we don't really do that kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. I was just a pastor doing what Yahweh told me to do, helping people, helping the public, speaking to the public, praying with people, almost being like a little Santa Claus, taking stuff and dropping stuff off all over that miserable little town, helping the nice people that were there. And these people, the public officials of this town, really want the people to be afraid of them. And I think they got it all wrong, Natasha. I think they should be afraid of us. I do. I think they got it all wrong. I think they need to be afraid of us. They need to be afraid of this. They need to be afraid of this. They need to be afraid of real presentment. Okay? I've been quoting, the We Are Free tour. You guys have been seeing that with the honeypot, with Jessica out there. Not my ex-wife. No. Jessica, that little blonde little lady out there. And I call it the honeypot tour because she's super cute. And she's, you know what I mean? She definitely gets attention. She's doing a great job. But I think we need more than awareness. We need somebody doing it. Because if we got enough people doing it, this will stop. If we got enough people standing up and saying, you know what? I'm willing to go the line. I'm willing to go to the distance. If it takes 10 years to take you out, that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is what this country was built on. You know what? Everybody likes to get behind a nice song. Last year we had that, remember that song last year? The guy was whining about something and they lost their jobs and all that stuff. You remember the guy with the beard that's, that song? And now nobody knows who he is anymore. So you still don't know who he is. You know what I'm talking about, right? He was that guy, that one-hit wonder guy that showed up and he was like, and he had that, he's a real country western kind of twangy voice. And he was talking about how it's, it's not fair and this and this and this and how the government's doing this and this wrong. Remember that, the guy in the overalls? Yeah. And nobody knows who he is anymore. I don't even know his name. But do you see how that guy just came and went? That's what I think of that honeypot tour, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're just coming and going. And they've literally created a job to do nothing. You want to do something? You want to litigate? You want to say that you're a litigator? Roll up your sleeves and start litigating. Those you teachers out there, and I'm talking to the pickle boy. Those of you guys that are misdirecting people out there and telling people to do stuff they shouldn't be doing, you need to shut your mouths, because you're hurting this country. And you're hurting the credibility of the people that are actually trying to do something, that are actually trying to change. Nobody should have to hang on for 6 years and be stuck here. I've been stuck here in Texas for 6 years, and I can't leave because I've been on bond. Nobody should be like that. That's a false imprisonment. It should never happen that way. But it is. We got George Saldana talking a lot about family courts and about family court rights, talking about Constitution, talking about following the rules and changing laws and having hope in a system that just wasn't built for you. See, why are they so bent on wanting to get these convictions? Why? I mean, other than let's just take out the side of the fact. Let's just separate the fact of people in Houston County hate Tim Damron and they just wanted to come after me and come get me. Okay. Let's just say that maybe I'm being paranoid. Okay. We'll just set that argument aside. Let's look at another page. Let's look at another page. Let's look at how these guys are, how they operate. So what they do is that these counties, these little small counties that don't make anything with like 7,000 people, like Crockett, they don't make much money. So what they do is they operate on what's called a CAFR system. And that means all the funds coming in don't go into the front pocket of the county per se. What happens is they get reinvested. And because they get reinvested, these counties always try to get 4D funding. This is why, like, if you look at some of my videos about Houston County, they'll have some guy in there and said, this guy's been charged with impersonating a federal officer. And he's in his overalls. I mean, that's not even convincing, dude. Stop it. No federal officer, no FBI agent is showing up in some overalls and a cowboy hat. I'm not going to believe that. And then the week before, they arrested the guy. So they had personal knowledge and they knew that he wasn't an FBI agent. So there's no way they could knowingly prosecute this guy for impersonating a federal agent unless there was a financial incentive to do it. And this happens in family court. This is called Title 4D funding. This is why it's illegal to be a father in this country. If your ex-wife hates you and she wants you gone, get counseling, everybody. Get close to Yahweh. That's what I say. Get close. Because all they have to do is say something. And if they say one little thing and it looks like domestic violence, any kind of family stuff, anything like that, that's Title 4D funding. We can get paid. And then they don't care about you anymore. This is when the Attorney General's office starts representing litigants on their own. Why? Who's paying them? You think they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart? They're not. They're getting paid by the government to do this. And because of these financial incentives, this is why small towns like Houston County are willing to go in and try to run people under the bus like this to get convictions that aren't there. This is why dads are killing themselves or unaliving themselves, as they say, all over America. Been going on for a long time. Why? Because they're being separated from their kids. They don't know what to do. That crushes a man. And if you don't have Yahweh in your life, I feel sorry for you. Because you talk about a trial by fire. Lose your kids. Deal with this stuff with Houston County. And what comes out of that fire is going to be pure and unimaginable. And I praise Yahweh for what he's done and for the things that he's done in my life, because I've been able to beat these guys and outrun their chariots, not because of me, but because of my relationship with the Most High. When these guys, and I'm going to tell you, these guys spin witchcraft like you've never seen. They will do it. These people wear dark robes for a reason. Okay? The Bible says that our battle is not with flesh and blood, but it's with spirits and principalities and rulers here. That's where this battle needs to be taken at. But instead, when they engage you, they take you everywhere else. They take your kids away. This little trip with Houston County, it cost me everything. It cost me my family. It cost me a 19-year marriage. It cost me my daughter. And I don't care what it costs me. I'm going to do what's right. That's what I'm built to do. We need more of that in this country. We need a lot more of that in this country. We need real courage, not a bunch of talking. We need real action, not the honeypot tour. We need people to stand up and ask questions. We're in the end times right now. Did y'all notice that Donald Trump just signed is getting a peace treaty, or has signed a peace treaty in Gaza? Y'all seen that? Do you know what that means? That means the tribulation is about to start. As soon as that peace treaty is broken, and it will be broken, and it'll be broken quickly too. When that's done, and he's doing this on purpose, just so you know, because like I said earlier, we paid billions of dollars, left our homeless veterans out on the street, and we sent billions of dollars to go over there and destroy those people who we don't even know. And now, this actor that we have is going to go over there and take all the credit and say, look what I fixed. See, that's that tear it down, build them up. That's what I'm talking about. That's a problem. You know what the Bible calls that? It calls that duplicitous. Another word for a sovereign citizen, duplicitous. Look it up. It means speaking out of both sides. This is what we got going on. I know that a lot of you guys are struggling out there. A lot of you guys got stuff going on, and you got legal questions, and things are going on around you, okay? Look, I don't have all the answers, but I know someone that does. We have an amazing, unlimited, we have unlimited resources. If you guys need help, I don't care what kind of case it is. I don't care who it's with. Because I've already been to the Lion's Den and back. I've been to the oven and back. And I don't even smell like smoke, guys. And this thing in Houston County is about to finish itself. There probably won't be a Houston County when we're done. And that's okay too. No place should be built to do that to their citizens. No place. But this is happening all over the country. And the only way we can stop this is by educating ourselves, learning how these guys operate. If you guys want to learn how to do this stuff properly, schedule an appointment with me. It's completely free. If you have questions and you need an hour just to talk to somebody about this, man, go to my website, set an appointment with me. It's completely free. I have an appointment tomorrow with a gentleman tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. If you guys are dealing with family law, family case stuff, I have 25 years experience dealing with family law. 25 years. And I've seen it all, like Jody and McCall. I've seen stuff that you wouldn't believe. I've seen some tricks that just play out. But let me tell you guys, there's hope. And there's real hope. You can get out of this funding trap real quick if you understand how to operate in equity, if you understand how to do this stuff properly. If you guys are interested in learning how to protect yourself, learning how to put your stuff into trust. If you put your stuff into trust, family court has no jurisdiction to jump into your business. Huh? If your stuff is in trust, nobody in probate can jump in your business when it's time for you to go home. And I mean the big home. This is the kind of stuff we're planning for right now. And if you guys are interested in learning how to protect yourself, protect your assets, and more importantly, level the playing field. If you're in a court case right now, if there's something we can handle, we can. Hold on a second. Somebody says, can you answer my question? Do you have a girlfriend? Oh. Yes, I do. Her name is Natasha. She's right here. Ask her husband. She'll tell you. Touche. All right, man. Well, listen, man. Oh, man. Wow. This is a good call, man. I don't care what anybody says, man. It was a good call tonight. And, those of you guys that want to catch all of the comments that were made between Natasha and Juan, there are a lot of great comments, a lot of great questions they were asking too. Those of you guys, we're going to rebroadcast this. It's going to come back out. You'll see the whole thing with all the little squares. Yeah, except without the corny songs. But anyway, we're going to be doing that. I'll be reposting that tonight. Are there any other questions out there except for me having a girlfriend? That's just inappropriate. My dude's right there. Okay, done. Our secret's out now, Natasha. Well, I mean, hey, Bonnie Raitt did that song. Let's give him something to talk about. So there you go. Let's go. You want to close this out tonight? Or did you have some more stuff? Yeah. That's right. Thank you so much. She's so awesome. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Uh-uh. Wow. Wow. Correct. He's saying that there's people out there that are trying to make the law not available to the people. You're right. A lot of the AI programs are getting sued right now because of that. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's enough AI out there right now to put lawyers out of business. Matter of fact, we're working on a program right now, and it's called Esquire.com, and we're building it right now. And this is a phenomenal legal platform, and we are running into so many barriers, and we have attorneys that are helping us do all this. Okay, so I mean, we're doing this properly. We're going through the proper channels, we're doing everything properly, but we're building this AI because but we keep running into issues like this. And it's I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly, I think with this vast explosion of knowledge, I think attorneys are going to be out of a job. Seriously, I think that's where all this is coming. I think AI is going to take over a lot of things, and the reason why I believe it's going to not, I know we're going over a little bit, but it's fine. The reason I think it's going to take over so many of these things, it's because the aptitude of the people is diminishing. In case you haven't noticed, I mean, Natasha, I know you deal with people on a regular when they come in to build homes, and they don't have their stuff together. You got to really like walk them through the park over there. They don't, and these young kids, they don't even know how to sign their names. They write their names like Nico and wrote my name. You know, and it's like, what? You're at the bank, man. It's a check, dude. Sign it, bro. They don't know how. So now they've got these things where you can make your own signature and it's a stamp. And then AI is going to step in and help people write sentences because if you read the Houston County's probable cause affidavit, it looks like a third grader wrote it. Really? And he's from our generation, Natasha. You talk about being dropped on your head. Poor Jerry Kalen. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's just terrible. So I think AI is going to take over all this stuff. And I think, and then what you guys heard that the IRS, a third of the IRS has been shut down permanently. They've been let go. Last day of work. We were just talking. Sean and I were just talking about this today. We were talking about this on the phone earlier today. Wow, we might go. Well, they are. So those of you guys that took my class and you have your indemnity bonds, no. I'm not talking about you guys that didn't take my class. I'm talking about those of you that have your indemnity bonds and took my class. You might want to reach out and talk to me. And let's watch this IRS thing because this could get very lucrative for some of y'all. So just give me a call. We'll talk about it. I promise. But anyway, I want to thank all of y'all for being here on the call. This was a really great call tonight. I hope. Thank y'all so much. Please like and share, everybody. We'll see you guys next Monday night, 6 p.m. Central Time, right here. Be blessed, everybody. Good night.